Hey, it's Sean, but you know that because this is Litvak Leadership Live. Otherwise, why would you be here? I am here with my good friend whose last name I have no idea how to pronounce, Kyle Andres?
That's it.
Andres. Okay, so I was close. I just know him as Kyle. So, Kyle, how do you say my last name?
Litvak.
Yeah, but I told you that.
I cheated.
So, anyways, Kyle and I are going to talk about leadership. But first, before we go there, yes, it's mega coat time, as everyone in my subdivision knows too, because one of our subdivision leaders found my video and has been posting it on our subdivision our page. God bless Lindy for doing that. But for those of you out there, my mastermind group is collecting winter coats. Or coats you can layer even for different organizations here in the greater Louisville and Southern Indiana area. I am donating all the coats that I collect to Jesus Cares at ExitZero.org, or more affectionately known as Exit Zero. They are a homeless support encouragement organization. Basically, they help out the homeless. I brought them one batch of coats on Saturday. I'm bringing them another batch of coats tomorrow. But frankly, I've got a personal goal of getting 100 coats to them. With the coats I'm bringing tomorrow, I'm up to 56. And you can be a part of this if you're in Louisville or Southern Indiana. Message me, direct message me, email me, call me if you have my cell phone, text me. I'm not putting my cell phone number up here. It is on Facebook if you're looking for it. And if you're not in the Louisville or Southern Indiana area and you want to participate, figure out where you want to bring coats, bring them there, take a picture and send it to me. And we're doing this because there's 24 of us across the US and Canada doing this. So, all right, that is mega coats. We will talk about that at the end. So Rick, listen to me. I'm calling you Rick already. So Kyle was a very successful salesman. A sales manager. I'm not sure of the difference. What is the difference between a salesman and a sales manager in your world?
Well, for me personally, there was basically no difference.
Okay.
I guess the thought is that I could have had other people under me, or the inside salespeople, had some sort of, relationship with me. But basically, I ran around and sold stuff.
Okay, so you ran around, you sold stuff, and you were talking to HVAC contractors and other types of contractors too?
Yeah, we did some like MRO, hospitals, facilities like that, but predominantly contractors.
And then one of the contractors, I guess, came to you at one point and said, "Hey, I'm thinking about selling my business. Do you know anyone who wants to buy it?" Is that the story?
Yeah, he and I had conversations that, I was interested in being on the contracting side and had, was looking basically for a business to buy. So he approached me, and that's how it all got started.
So why did you want to go from the frying pan into the fire?
For me personally, it was the selling process, or at least my selling process with supplying product to contractors, was relationship building and long-term things. And I'm a much more of an immediate gratification kind of person. And I knew that going into a house, solving a problem, getting paid for it, and leaving was what I wanted to do.
And building relationships is what you're saying.
Yeah. Well, and again, I met some great people, and I still am in contact with a lot of them because now they're my competitors to some extent. But this side of things fit me better, and I knew it pretty early in my, tenure of being a sales manager. So yeah, it worked out. I was able to, learn a lot from that job, and, get to see a lot of other contractors and how they did business and what they did good, what they did bad, and kind of put that into our company.
So as a business owner, how do you define leadership?
Gosh,
I told you there'd be some difficult questions.
Yeah, right.
You gotta think a little.
So, for me, mean, I'm in the trenches with my guys every day. So, I've told them, I'm never going to ask you to do anything that I wouldn't do. If there's a situation where they don't feel comfortable doing something, I, try to encourage them to tell me that, and, give them whatever they need to resources to be successful at whatever it is. I guess I lead by example more than anything because I am active in the field. But I would say that, having a compassion for your, guys and the people that you work with and the things that, are going on in their lives, and understanding that and having everybody on the same page. I mean, that's this COVID has been so difficult for us because we're so used to being around each other. And now that we're staging, guys in the mornings and not, around a powwow in the mornings and things like that, it's hard. Our morale is not as good. And, we've had guys off. And so all that's been difficult, but, just trying to, I guess, build a company atmosphere that's, kind of like a family, with its good, bad, dysfunction, whatever.
So how do you, improve morale and build the family atmosphere when you guys are working staggered shifts or, in a staggered way? And I'm sure, there's some people in your organization that are like, don't get within 12 feet of me without a mask. And then there's other people that are like, oh, take off that stupid mask. You're offending me.
Sure.
How do you blend all that as the leader?
I have, I've been on the phone a whole lot more with the guys, doing a lot more text messaging, just asking them during the day how they're doing, how things are going. I've kicked around the whole video conference and, things like that. Just trying to bring us all together. But it's hard. It's been very hard. And I know I've got some guys that don't care, and they're used to working by themselves anyway. And I'm an only child, so I'm used to doing that too. So it from my standpoint, I don't really need a helping hand doing certain things. But for other guys, I mean, that's just what they've done their whole lives, and they're used to having a helper all the time, or used to coming in and doing things. So it's been a challenge, and I'm not afraid to say that I'm not doing very good at it either. But it's learning process for me for sure.
Well, and full disclosure for everyone here, the way that I met Kyle, not Rick, but Kyle, because it's Rick's Repair, but Kyle owns it, is our air conditioner went out in July, and trying to find an organization that would come out was difficult. And then I happened upon one of his two companies, and they all go by the name Rick's Repair, basically. We're not even going to talk about the other name. But Kyle got guys out here. They worked on it. They figured out what was wrong. They were fairly priced. They were courteous. And I was like, this is the way it should be. So, when you run into companies like that, if you're in Southern Indiana, you should be using Rick's Repair. So how do you get, how are you training people as to how to interact with people during this time?
So we've always done the, booties and gloves and that sort of thing, respecting people's homes. Early on, when I bought the company, there was just basically two of us for a little while, and then we started to grow, and so we started adding people. And one of the first things that we talked about and tried to perfect, or at least identify, was what is the perfect service call. So step by step, literally from like how you get out of the truck, where you park, what you do, and how all of that can help the customer, kind of be at ease, because, they're going through a challenging, thing. They called you because they're uncomfortable. So that was part of our first process, was let's identify how this process works, so that then we can do it. And so with it, I've got a couple younger guys, and that was one of the first things we did is, let them ride around with us, show them, here's how, we approach, here's how we do this. And of course, now we've implemented, I'm not shaking your hand and I'm putting my mask on. And, in the beginning of all COVID, it was, if we didn't need to be in their house to do certain things, we wouldn't do that if they weren't comfortable with it. So it's been a learning process. But for the most part, everybody's pretty much bought in. I think whether their personal beliefs or what, they know that, we haven't stopped. And I'm in the summertime, it's nothing for me to be in 8 or 9 houses a day. And, that's for people who literally had not gone anywhere or done anything for months. For us to be in their home, I mean, that's a pretty serious thing. So we had to, take some respect and, courtesy for their feelings and what was going on, and just kind of follow what CDC was telling us. So yeah, it's been difficult for sure. But we keep our head down and keep on going.
So one thing that I've always personally struggled with in leadership is the interaction when people are, how can I say this? Knowing where the line is in friendliness with your employees and leading your employees, understanding their personal life, but then again, keeping the line there so you don't allow them to use it as an excuse or victimhood. How do you straddle that successfully? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. It is easy, especially in a small company like ours, to not necessarily get walked on, but, for there to be some, taking advantage of, being laxed on certain things, and not having a strict line on how this protocol would happen or whatever. But I mean, for me, it's kind of been a case by case basis. I inherited one employee when I bought the original company. Our next employee is married to my first cousin, and I've known him for 20 something years.
Okay.
So he literally was family. And I think the biggest part, at least that I'm learning and understanding, is that it takes the right people to begin with. If you got somebody on board that doesn't fit the atmosphere, and whether they're the greatest tech or whatever in the world, if they don't fit with what you're trying to do and they don't buy into the mission statement and how we do things, they're just not going to work. And we've had that a handful of times with guys that we've hired, and it just you kind of learn pretty early, and it's bad apple spoils the bushel. So that's that's very true in our world, and when you're dealing with needing and relying on other people like we do. So that's I guess part of that is definitely getting the right people, which is incredibly difficult, because we're not telling young kids to go into trades, and they're not they're going to college, and the people, I guess, historically have kind of looked down on some of what we do as, that's not for someone who's going to, achieve higher education or whatever. And so, but hopefully that is changing. And if we get better and more people in the industry, trying to make sure that, me as a boss, has developed at least, a framework for how, there's a discipline if, you have a interaction with somebody and they need to be corrected, following a, kind of an idea of, not browbeating them or not trying to humiliate anybody, but saying, hey, look, this is what we see as issues. This is where we need improvement. This is what you're good at. This is how we can, maybe incorporate what you're good at and change some of the things that we're having issues with. I've been doing more of that with these younger guys, just trying to maybe focus on their strengths a little bit more instead of their shortcomings.
So how do you, and wearing the HR hat is definitely challenging. How do you do that without someone crying foul?
I email or text my attorney.
There we go. Okay, very good. Good answer.
Yeah. Google, again, I 20 years ago, if you asked me if I was going to be running a heating and air conditioning company, I would have laughed at you. I never pictured myself as the boss. I wouldn't say I floated through college, but I was in a completely different world. And
so
yeah.
So we got a guest in the house, Brian Monahan, and Brian Monahan, as I go off camera, which is probably one thing you're not supposed to do, is author of Customer Delight 365. If you all do not have a copy of this book, you need to go onto Amazon and buy it. One of the best customer service books ever. So Brian's question for you, Kyle, is what are a few items that make the perfect service call?
All right. So, we've already mentioned some of the PPP stuff. We always wear our booties when we go in someone's house. But probably the biggest thing that we teach is the very beginning of how we, approach the house. So we get out of the car, we knock on the door, we back up 6 feet. If there's a step, we step down. And we're just trying to give our customers some distance so that we can introduce ourselves, that we can, they can evaluate us, see that we're wearing a uniform, that, we're going to put our booties on. And
You're
then
not some crazy person wanting to go in and steal their toilet paper.
Yes, exactly. So, and then the first thing that we do after we introduce ourselves, we have a software that we use that the office manager puts the information for the call in the ticket. So we have already read that, so we kind of have an idea of what's going on, but we ask the customer what they're experiencing. Tell us what you're hearing, what it does, what the issue is, or what's going on. And the first thing that we have to do is listen. It's very easy for us as technicians to get pigeonholed because we read what's going on in the notes and we're thinking about what's wrong with it while we're driving there. And I always tell the guys, don't fix it in the truck. don't, it's not, go in, see what's going on, because, we're dealing with complicated appliances here and there could be numerous things that, could be an issue. And then, the fixing part of it, that's really an aside. The customer service part is most people don't know anything about heating and air conditioning. They don't really understand how their unit works. But we ask them to, show us around the house, show us where the equipment is, where's this, where's that, and kind of give them some control, I guess, over the what's going on.
Right.
And then, once we have a diagnosis or have evaluated what's going on, we discuss pricing pretty much immediately. So, your situation with you, it was a little different because we had a, home warranty company involved, but, for a retail customer, you've got a system that's broke that you don't understand and you have no idea how much it's going to cost to fix it. So, if we can address those concerns up front,
introduction.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's, that's part of it. And then, one of the things that I've been trying to work more on in the back office kind of things are in follow-up. So, having an email follow-up, making sure that we have places for people to review us, just understanding whether we've left something open or not, and when you get, multiple hands in this thing where you've got, a person taking the call, a technician going out to it, me looking over, service tickets and work orders, it's just nice to know that we've actually closed the job and that, if there are things that we need to follow up on, we do that. So, and again, we're not perfect at it, but that's
yeah, you guys are pretty close to perfect. I got to tell you, everyone has dealt with HVAC and electricians and plumbers and all that over the years, and you guys are on it. So Brian thinks you are too. So good, good comments here. So who has been most inspirational to you as a leader? Who do you look to as a leader example?
I guess specifically within our business, there's some guys nationally that are doing some really cool things. Jim Bergman is a trainer, and he is developing some really cutting edge diagnostic software, very reasonably priced, and is really cool. I mean, for a tool guy like me, the things that they're doing, their product's called Measure Quick, and it can basically take a lot of the guesswork out of what we do, and really, take even it makes a seasoned tech even that much better, and it can make a junior tech have some really awesome tools at his disposal to really understand how things are going on. There's a gentleman by the name of Brian Orr. He runs Kalo Services in Florida, and he also runs HVACR School, which is a YouTube and online platform. And again, these guys they're geeks like I am about heating and air conditioning, and they read about this stuff all the time. And Brian in particular, being a contractor, he has just a lot of first-hand experience, and he has a ton of information, through HVACR School about, how businesses can better themselves, how technicians can better themselves, and those things are just really, I think, if they're not already driving people to be better, it's only going to help, So, so yeah, those would be business people. I have some individuals, personally that are friends of mine that are successful, that are confidants, and have made the right choices in their lives, and are doing things that that inspire me and help me try to better myself. And so those people are indispensable. I mean, they're the first person I call whenever I do anything.
So when you went from, you're obviously a very smart guy. You were successful in sales. You had some industry knowledge because you were selling into the industry, but I'm sure there was a learning curve for you in just learning the service end of it. Yet you're the owner. How did you overcome that learning curve and gain the respect of your employees at the same time?
It was a fairly long process. The first year, so I've always been pretty technical. I've took things apart as a kid. I always want to know how things worked. In college and after college, I was building things, and was fairly equipped on that side. So I went back to trade school. So I did that while I was in sales. I convinced my employer that it was a good thing for me to learn a few things, pay for my school, and it would help me sell stuff. And so I went to Ivy Tech here locally. I already had a degree, so they let me audit classes while I was there. So I just took basically the classes I wanted to, fill the gaps in my knowledge. And then after I bought the company, the first year, the employee that I inherited, he and I were in a truck together every day. I mean, we rode together every day. He's been doing this for 26 years. He's about my age. He and I have a whole lot in common. We're very close. And it just, that really started everything. And then I just grew from there, reading, things online, taking training classes online, any product information I could get my hands on. Those were things that because I was interested in, because I'm interested in it, it's stuff that I do on Saturday afternoon. I'm flipping through a trade journal, or,
Sure.
looking at, how this product actually works. So that's predominantly how I did it. It was, a pretty long process for a while, and, I still haven't mastered it, because, equipment changes every day.
So perfect entree to this next question. It's almost like you saw it there. So, and I have no idea if Brian is being serious or facetious. Why don't they just put a hard start in every AC unit from the manufacturer?
They should.
You know what he's talking about. What is he talking about?
So a hard start is also called a start assist. And basically when a compressor starts, a regular single stage compressor, you have a massive inrush of current of electricity to start that compressor. And if you had a meter on it, or if you've ever seen your lights dim when your air conditioning kicks on, that's what's going on. All that power is being drawn to that outdoor unit. And so a hard start helps that compressor start. It's storing energy. It's allowing it to not draw as much energy when it starts. And most high-end equipment nowadays that's single or multi-stage, they have hard starts on them, but equipment's starting to go to variable speed and, changing things, which, eventually will be the standard. But yeah, they should absolutely put it on every unit.
Okay. So, gosh, so many things to ask. I mean, how do you deal with, the heat and the cold and the people with dogs and just the whole going into people's homes? I mean, can't that be intimidating?
Absolutely. Yeah. So, we, a lot of times I bring extra clothes, so for the summer, especially. I'm a big guy. I'm hairy. I'm gonna sweat through a shirt in a pretty quick time. I've got one guy who he carries cologne and deodorant in his lunchbox, so he's always ready to freshen up. We use the booties and gloves for protecting us from protecting our customers from us, but sometimes the booties are because you don't want to get your shoes dirty because somebody's house is that nasty.
Nice.
Yeah. When you're changing filters and inside an air handler and you've got, everything that's in that person's air has gone through that unit, it can be pretty disgusting.
So have you ever gone to look at a unit that isn't working and it is just chock full of like ugh?
Absolutely. Yeah. The best thing I ever found, we had a lady call. She had just turned on her air conditioner and she had an odor in her house. And I went down in a cellar where her unit was. And I found a raccoon in her air handler. Somehow it was dead, of course.
Of course it was.
But somehow it had managed to get in on the supply side. So it had gotten into her attic and ripped into something, or it was already open and it had fallen all the way down to the cellar. And it, I assume, got electrocuted by the heaters, the strip heaters.
Right.
And then it laid there for who knows how long until she turned her air conditioning on. And so, yeah, I should not have cleaned that unit. I should have told her to call a critter ritter or something.
Yeah.
But, I got into it and it was like, I'd already started down the track. So there wasn't really any going back. So.
And when you got to that point, did you just look at it and go, oh, really? Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely have said there's a better way to make a living more than once.
So shockingly, we've gone 29 minutes already. It just flies by. This is the opportunity in the show where you get to send everyone off with a bit of wisdom. So my question is, what advice do you have for everyone as they continue on their leadership journey?
Gosh, I'm a big Dave Ramsey guy, so I like his caring nurture kind of ideology, and with his people that he does business with, that he wants them to have the heart of a school teacher. That's kind of what I feel. I'm respect everyone, respect everybody around you and people that you're expecting to do things for you. And then, if you're driven to be in this, type of position in a leadership role, be focused, have goals, have, clear things that you want to accomplish. That's one thing that has really helped me over the years, is making sure that I have, set things that I want to accomplish, not just in a day, but in a week, in a year, in 5 years, whatever. And then if you start to achieve those things, have a way to reevaluate and see where you're going, and can you do more? So yeah, that's what I would say, is be focused, be organized, and, get to it,
I think that's great. Obviously, I think it's great because I'm writing it down. So awesome. Kyle, thank you so much for being on the show today. Your HVAC knowledge is great, but your inspiration and wisdom in how to lead people is really impressive, and I know touched people and educated people today. And hey, everyone, if you're in the Southern Indiana area, that would be Southern Indiana outside of Louisville. And do you guys go into Louisville too?
We do not. No, we're still on our side of the pond right now. So,
all right. So just the sunny side, as we refer to it, just north of Louisville, north of the Ohio River, and you've got an issue or you need maintenance. Here we go. I knew I would get to this eventually. Or if you need maintenance, just go to ricks-repair.com and click on this annual plan renewal, and that'll get you set up for an annual plan. And you can enjoy the same level of outstanding service that I enjoy with my units. So thank you again. That's Litvak Leadership Live for the week. Oh, no, wait. Today's only Tuesday. Boy, I'm ahead of myself. We got one more show this week tomorrow. Come join us. We got one of my former and current fraternity brothers is going to be in talking about leadership, because that's what we talk about daily. Enjoy yourself. Thank you again, Kyle, not Rick. And everyone, be blessed. Have a great day.
Thanks, Sean.